Interface Video presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, and the Frankie Smith Funeral Home.
Hello friends, and welcome to Fairfield Today. I'm Paul Jassen, your host. Thank you for joining us, and as we begin taping today, it is absolutely a beautiful day here in downtown Lancaster. We are of course in the lobby, the main office of Fairfield Federal, and we appreciate them for so many years now allowing us to come in here and take a little corner of this place and have what we hope are very interesting and entertaining shows to you. Second half of the show today, we'll be talking to Michelle Richland about what is now the after-school program in Lancaster, Ohio, another thing that's really gone wild and done so well the last few years. We're going to begin today by talking about the Robert K. Fox Family Y, and I was looking on their website, and it says they are a nonprofit, community-centered organization that brings people together, nurtures potential, and gives back to the community. So with that as the background, it's a pleasure to have back with us Anita Morhart. Anita, how are you?
I'm good. How are you,
Good,
Paul?
thank you. Anita is the Community Wellness Director, and we've had her on several times before, mostly with a program that she began several years ago about Parkinson's.
Yes.
And which is still an ongoing program. But now Anita kind of alerted me that she has branched out a little bit in another area, and is something that I think touches, I don't know if it touches more lives than Parkinson's people. Probably it does, but you can tell me that. It's about arthritis, and the Y and Anita are beginning an arthritis program at the Robert K. Fox Family Y. So that's something that just popped into my head in terms of numbers of people that have the disease, Parkinson's versus arthritis. Who's the winner?
Arthritis.
I figured that. So many people have that. What's your numbers on that?
They do. In the United States, a conservative number is 54 million Americans suffer from 100 different types of arthritis.
So was that the thinking on your part, why the Y needs to get a program like that? Or did somebody come to you and say, why don't you have a program on arthritis?
Well, doing research through the CDC, I researched what Fairfield County had more of a prevalence of, and 28% of our community in Fairfield County suffer from arthritis.
Really? 28%? Mm-hmm. So, and your Parkinson program still going wonderfully.
Oh.
I know people in that, and people have begun it almost from the beginning till now. This is what, several years now this has been going on?
3.
3 years.
And then we've had Live Strong for cancer survivors for 5. So this is our 3rd chronic illness class that we're bringing to the community.
All right, so now fast forward to arthritis. That's your focus. That's what you want to do. You've recently come back from some training in that, gotten certified, so now it's moving forward in the Y, and will it be similar to Parkinson's program where you'll have classes on this at the Y?
Right, it's similar. The class will meet 3 times a week. It'll be 12:30 to 1:30, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Like our other chronic illness classes, the person will have to have a one-on-one meet and greet with the instructors to get to know your medical history, kind of know where you're
prior
at.
to getting in?
Prior to getting in.
Okay.
We do some pre-testing because this is evidence-based.
Okay.
So this started, I think, in 2013 in YMCAs around the country. And over these last years, they've compiled evidence of what this program can actually do for people who have arthritis.
So is that how it began for Parkinson too? Was it evidence-based that you interviewed people and then you saw they had it and then they could get in? Was
Yes.
that how it all
Well,
goes?
actually, we had several people inquire about a Parkinson's program, so I started to research, what we had available to us, and that was a very viable program. And what I'm realizing is, with exercise, just about everything gets better.
Talking with Anita Morhart. She is the Community Wellness Director for the Robert K. Fox Family Y. And as far as costs for this, do you have to be a member of the Y to join, and is there a fee?
Yes, there is. For members, now this program runs 16 weeks and it meets 3 times a week, so we're talking 48 classes.
Okay.
Okay. For members, it's $24. It's 50 cents a class.
$24 for the entire
For
session.
the entire session.
Quite the bargain.
For non-members, it's $120 for those 4 months.
And I know we've talked about arthritis, but again, that's something that in your mind, not from a medical standpoint, because we're not doctors, we won't diagnose that, but something in your mind that you see a real need that potentially you could have a lot of people sign up for this class.
Arthritis interferes with your daily living activities. Walking, doing steps, driving. I mean, you name it, it can interfere with it. So with these enhanced classes, we're going to work cardio. We're going to work strength, flexibility, endurance, and balance because it seconds as a fall prevention program also.
And one thing I do know about arthritis is there are lots of different kinds. I've seen certainly terrible looking, I think they would call it rheumatoid arthritis, mostly with hands. That's where it's visible. You see it with people's hands. But there's all kinds. It goes from say, knees to joints. It's just, will these be things you'll be touching on? All kinds could be helped by your classes?
Yes, and you could be seated throughout this entire class. You can be going from seated to standing, or you can be standing. This is going to work for everyone. We're not asking people to hold free weights in their hands. They're actually going to be wrist weights. So the gripping is going to be an issue for some people. So this encompasses a wide range of our people here in Lancaster.
So if somebody is out there hearing this and they have a type of arthritis, some form that perhaps we've touched on or not touched on, it would be worth their time perhaps to at least give you a call, let you know what they have and could this be beneficial? Yeah.
And during that one-on-one intake, we also have to get a doctor's release that we take care of. They don't have to go to their doctors.
Okay.
But that doctor's going to let us know if this is a good program or not a good program for them to participate in.
And what would be your hope if someone signs on, comes to every class, at the end of all these classes, they graduate, they're done, would they come back for more classes? Will there be different classes? Or if they found some success, would they start over and just keep doing what they're doing on their own, or would they get in more classes?
Well, we start with that baseline pre-testing, and then
Yes.
at the end of 16 weeks, we see with post-testing what they've accomplished in those 16 weeks. Some people will choose to stay in this class. It has a 90% retention rate. Others will use this as a stepping stone and move on to other programs that we have at the Y. So
Okay.
It's either or.
And you already have those other programs are in
Absolutely.
place. This is just something that perhaps will get people started.
Yes.
And moving in the right direction. And I know Parkinson's people with Parkinson's, they tend to perhaps not socialize quite as much. They tend to stay on their own. Do we find any of that with arthritis? I know it's completely different.
Actually, with what they've done, they've proven that depression is decreased by 53%
Really?
when people get active in this program.
Socialization in a class.
Their physical activity improves by 35%. That's a lot.
So you'll be in one of the classrooms upstairs. Is that where you conduct this?
It's going to probably be in one of our gyms. I'm not
Okay.
sure which one. If people have issues walking, we do have wheelchair service to where we are going. So everyone's going to be able to get to where we're going. No steps involved in this program.
Probably a good call on this. I don't know if it pertains to this, but tell me about enhanced fitness. What is that?
That is the program for
That's
people.
what it's called?
Yes, enhanced
Oh,
fitness is
okay.
what it's called.
And so again, to get started, the first thing would be for someone to call you.
Yes.
Will you be the sole instructor? Will you have other people assisting
I
you?
had 4 certified.
Oh.
I'm one of them certified. The main instructors are going to be Karen Whitlatch and Jody Baxter. I will be a backup sub. Maybe sometime down the road we'll be able to start this class in the evening also, but we're going to start with the daytime program. So I'm going to be like the person people call to get set up for that intake, doing all the data entry stuff that needs to be going on for this program with the Y of the USA and things like that.
When someone begins this program and you watch them come in from day one, what would be your hope for them at graduation, at the end of the session? Just improvement in their overall physical ability? What would you term a success?
I don't know. 16 weeks is kind of long for me to wait to see some success. So
No.
First I'd like to see just people be happy to be there, to be a part of a group. That's the first thing I like to see. People talking to other people that they didn't know when they first came in. Maybe starting to socialize outside of this class and meeting other days at the Y. You know, that's the first thing. Just people, whatever they can do, they do it to the best of their ability. And that makes me happy.
That would be good. So, and just to drift off this topic a little bit, while we have somebody here, when I had Howard here last time, I talked to him, Howard Long, the head of the Y down there, and we talked about your new River Valley campus. And just to slide off your topic for a little bit, I know you're involved with the new River Valley campus and some things going on there. Pretty exciting time for the Y here in a month or so to be jumping into that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's going to be crazy down there. I'm a Y member, so I've kind of watched this come about for the past couple of years and the inception and things going on. The entire campus looks amazing out there, and even the part that the Y members will be involved with, gosh, it's going to be nice.
Yeah, just know that as a Y member, you have access to both facilities, and that's going to be a really nice added bonus. Whereas on Sundays, the main Y opens at 1 o'clock. The RVC campus is going to be opening at 9 in the morning for those people that want to get in and out of there a little bit earlier. So it definitely has some pluses to it.
Now that area down there, will the heart patients, the hospital heart patients, is that where they exercise too?
Yes.
Yes, so that's really what it's for, and then it's just nice that the Y is joined in with them. Two good partnering groups here.
So like the hospital will have rehab there. They'll have that area, and then we'll be running the wellness center.
And I didn't go to the grand opening, say, a month ago, but I guess pretty nice equipment. Everything is state of the art. It's pretty good. Yes, really.
Yes.
really going to be something, huh?
It is.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And so within a month that'll be starting. But let's get back to this now. So if somebody wants to either get more information, or maybe they've got enough, they'd like to get started, what's the next step for them?
Give me a call at the Y, 740-654-0616. Extension 280 will get you there the fastest.
Okay. And I don't know, I look at the website periodically. Do you have arthritis info up there yet on that or not?
Because we don't have the exact start date. We're going to be doing some demo classes free to the community so they can come in and check it out.
We're talking September if everything would work?
Yes, we're talking those demo classes in September, and then moving forward from there. We're not going to work with sessions like the Y does. As a member, you know we work in sessions. Since this is 16 weeks long, we are kind of like in our own session with Enhanced Fitness.
Sounds like an exciting time. I can tell you're kind of geeked up about this.
I
know you were excited about Parkinson's as it's moved on and shown so much success, and I guess we hope for that similar kind of success here with this. Obviously, there's a need in the community.
Can I just say something about Livestrong quickly?
Sure.
It's for our cancer survivors, and we only run 2 programs a year, and one's in the fall and one's in the spring. We are still looking for people to run this program in the fall. So if you're a cancer survivor and interested in learning more about this program of Livestrong, contact me also. Please.
That's Anita Morehart. Just call the Fox Family Y and ask for Anita and you'll get her. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anita Morehart with the Fox Family Y, and we've been talking about their new arthritis program. We'll be back to talk about the after-school program right after this.
The Frank E. Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our 2 locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster or 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Welcome to the Dream Machine. Like to be part of Dream Machine, keep me busy, and it's also important that we do it together as a group, and we plow and plant, and we have lots of produce. We have tomatoes like one here, and gourds, cucumbers, squash, crabbies, beets, microgreens. We also have flower arrangement, and we also sell bags, those tote bags out of animal food bags, and we sell them out in the market, farmers market.
It's a special place that keeps people healthy by eating a couple fruits and vegetables. I always show people, first time they pick raspberries and green beans, I show them how to do it like if they do it wrong. Picking raspberries and green beans is simple, it's easy for me. We're entering some things in the fair like pumpkins, the gourds were growing, and everyone likes them. Tasty.
Fairfield Medical Center took care of me like I was family.
I was made to feel like I was the only person that they were going to see that day, even though I knew that wasn't the case.
Everyone at Fairfield Medical Center was very attentive. They just put my mind at ease.
I was there for 12 days, and I felt comfortable there.
We were people to them, not a number. They took the time to get to know us, our personalities.
Well, they saved my life. You know, how do you beat that?
I don't know how I could have gotten through it without them.
Experience Fairfield Medical Center.
Welcome back to Fairfield today. I want to thank Anita Morehart coming in, talking for the Fox Family Y. It's kind of fun today to talk about two of the programs that I kind of very interested in, the Family Y, which I've been a member and have always kind of been involved in that a little bit. And another one is the what originally started back in 1998 was the West After School program. Began in the 6th Avenue United Methodist Church over at the corner of 6th and Garfield. In their basement, a few kids, a few volunteers, a few tutors. I was really pleased to have been in kind of the ground floor. I tutored some over there at West School, and then I was on the board in the early years when this was just getting started. And now you fast forward to now, they began in the basement of a church. Now they're in 5 schools, doing great work with all the kids around the community. It's the after-school programs of Lancaster. It's grown more from just the West School. It's a pleasure to have the executive director, Michelle Richland. Michelle, how are you?
I'm well, Paul. Thank you.
Good.
How are you?
Glad to have you back. We always enjoy talking about your program. You do it, and again, if anybody knows anything about this program or me, I'm a West Side kid. I grew up just about a block from where your office is right there, and I've always been partial to the West Side. I like to see Mike Tharp doing great things with Miller Pool over there, who have turned that around, and it's looking great. I love to see things not pulled out of the West Side to keep in the West Side. You have always been over there. Your genesis is there, your beginning is there, your office is there now, but the program has really grown, even in the 10 or 11 years you've been there.
Absolutely, yeah. And the West Side is important to us to keep that presence there, because that is where we started. We have our annual 5K, and we still hold it over on that side of town as well. So that is important to me. But yeah, we have expanded among, because it did start, West Side, thinking those kids needed help. Rosemary Hayjost and Ned Klum.
She was in on the beginning,
and she's still here.
Yeah.
She's on our board
She's
still to this day.
isn't she?
She's wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful support. So we've expanded, luckily, with the availability of 21st Century grants to be able to service the whole city, because the problem isn't just on the West Side any longer.
No.
It's everywhere. If you ask anybody in the community, any police officer, anything, they'll tell you that the need, teachers, it's just everywhere. So we were lucky to be able to get some funding to expand to service all the Lancaster City schools, elementaries.
Your office, and has been for quite a while, and it's always been there, is just across from what was then West School, right there on Garfield Avenue. West School is now moved. It's the Gorsuch West School out at Hunter Trace. And so now a church has bought that. I think it's called Connections West, or maybe that's close.
Connection West is what they call that building, correct?
Right.
Yes.
Has that made any difference in terms of what you do since West School is not there, but now they have their own group of kids coming in there?
Yeah, so we have partnered with them a lot, actually. Aaron Begley, who's the pastor and also runs that, he's on our board as well, so he's intimately involved in everything on that side of town with us. So he housed our summer lunch program for the last couple years. We've rented their kitchen, so we've run our program out of there. For the last 2 years, we're looking at possibly partnering and maybe moving into his building if possible, because we are running out of space in our building. With the school moving, we don't service our own children there any longer. So, but we need to do something with the building. We wanted it to be used for the purpose it was built for. We wanted children to be in there. So we rent most of the building out, except for my office and Chris's office, to Jules Learning Center. And they've got, this summer they had about 100 kids in there, which is absolutely wonderful. They utilize the kitchen and everything. So that made us kind of have to go, find secondary space, and Connection West across the street was just a natural fit for us.
Something that I think is ongoing for you every day, every year is funding. That's always an issue for the after-school program, and so many of these great programs depends on funding issues and how you get funded. How are things looking now as we begin the new school year, as we move into September and the fall? The schools are starting up, and we'll talk about the schools where you are, but how does the funding look for the new year?
Yeah, so every year we apply for grant. We can apply for 3 grants a year. We applied for 3 this year. We did not get any new grants. Not saying we don't have any. We have 2 continuing grants, one at Gorsuch West and one at Medill, but we lost junior high grants. Those rolled off. We did not get new grants for those.
Probably difficult.
It is. It's a very competitive process. There were 244 applicants in the state for these $42 million, these funds, and they were only able to award 34 new grants. So it's really challenging. It's really hard. It's very competitive. Next year we'll try again. There should be more funds open up next year, just because of the way the grants run. Like there's 5-year cycles, and some will be falling off, and there'll be more money available. So we'll apply again for Mount Pleasant, for Talmadge, and for the junior highs, because we lost funding at Talmadge as well. But at the elementaries, we can still keep a presence at the elementaries. It'll be a fee-based program as opposed to a grant-based, where most of the kids get to come free because I have grant funding for that. Talmadge, we also applied for Talmadge. We did not get new funding for Talmadge, so they'd had a grant for the last 3 years.
So what schools are you in now?
So the schools, we're in all 5 elementaries.
Okay, and those are?
Those are Medill and Gorsuch West, both with grants.
Okay.
So those we'll have about 50 or 60 spots for kids at no cost to the parents.
Okay.
And then we're also at Mount Pleasant, Talmadge, and Tarhee Trails with no grants, but still a presence there. Still AM and PM childcare that is still very academically based, with the possibility, if we do some fundraising, to get some money for scholarships for kids. So we'll be able to scholarship maybe, I would like to do about 20 kids total over the year. Not at each school, but total. Which is down from, we'll have about 50 or 60 kids scholarshiped in each of the sites where we have grants. So that's where the big difference lies.
Now, when you tell us, well, we lost Talmadge, what does that mean? Why would some schools be in and some schools be out?
So Talmadge was on recently had a 3-year grant, and that rolled off. So all these grants right now, they're 5-year grant cycles. So those grants, the government will fund them for 5 years, and then they expect you to be able to sustain those grants. And no one has figured out how to do that to that level. So we sustain them, but at a smaller degree. So when I say that grant has rolled off, those federal funds are gone, and now we have to survive through our own means. That means paid child care for AM and PM for parents. Whatever fundraising we do, things like that. So that's how we survive for those sites that don't have a grant.
So those fundraising things you're talking about, for example, the race and things you do, those are very important to the life of your program.
They are. They absolutely are. Those things, they're not going to replace the federal funds. That's why, I used to have, I would be able to employ 5 or 6 people. Now I can employ 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the bulk of where those federal funds go, is to the staffing. And if I don't have the staff, I can't have the students, because then I'm doing a disservice. If I'm saying I can still provide the same quality with fewer people, you just can't. You can't do that. So, and I can't, and it's not fair to the kids and the parents. I can't falsely sell something, So that's why we're down to 2. Volunteers always help, though.
Yeah.
Volunteers help keep that quality up for sure. So, but that's difficult too. People are busy. You can't count on what we used to have 100 volunteers.
Yeah.
We've tried, and you just can't do it any longer.
Everybody's pulled in a lot of directions.
Absolutely.
Parents, and do you find most of the volunteers are parents or just other concerned citizens?
Other citizens,
yes.
Absolutely. Actually, Fairfield Federal Bank put together a wonderful program for us last year with a lot of volunteers. Yeah, so that was very helpful. We get a lot of high school students, actually, Honor Society, because those kids need volunteer hours as well. So we get a lot of those kids that come and help, and they're wonderful. The mentorship that people like yourself and these high school kids provide our students is invaluable. I love helping the kids, increase their reading and their math, and that's absolutely valuable. There's no doubt. But my goodness, when you see a kid come in and their eyes light up when a volunteer or mentor comes in, that's what's making the difference in these kids' lives. Knowing that someone else in this community cares about them.
That probably is big with the young people.
It's huge. It's the most impactful thing that we do.
Talking with Michelle Richland. Michelle is the executive director of the after-school programs of Lancaster, formerly the West After School. I like to throw the word West in there whenever I can, West After School program. Now, if a kid goes to one of these schools that you're involved, let's say they go to Medill and you're involved there, are they automatically in the after-school program if all they have to say is, yes, we're in?
That's a great question. So no. The programs are set up to help kids that are achieving below level in math and reading, specifically, and socioeconomic situations as well. So they have to be recommended by a teacher for the program. A parent can't just come up to me and say, my kid's not doing well, I really want him in the program. Okay, but we'll need to investigate that.
Here's what you need to do.
That's exactly right. We'll go speak to the teacher and say, look, every teacher, pretty much they know after after a couple weeks working with the kids, they'll know who would benefit from some extra intervention. And we don't do just math and reading and homework. There's a lot more facets to these programs.
See, originally that's kind of what it was.
That's exactly what it was.
If you were a volunteer, if you could help them read, if you could help them do math, that was enough. But now it's grown.
Absolutely.
And you probably still could do that if you want.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes. That's absolutely a huge component to what we do. But there's what they call wraparound services now. It's getting the social emotional piece for these kids and their family lives. We're finding those things are really affecting their ability to learn. We give them a snack. We make have a lot of physical education. I do some boot camps with the kids that they don't really love, but that's okay. It's good for them. I know that. So there's that piece too, and then another big piece is parent and family engagement, because the more involved parents are in their kids' education, the more successful.
So you encourage that.
Absolutely, we host several parent nights throughout the year. Yep, absolutely.
Turnout good.
The turnout is good, actually.
Good.
We always offer food. The families
that's always
love
a draw.
that. It's a huge draw,
great.
And great activities. STEM activities, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. Because we did the NASA. We did NASA last year. We had we spoke to the space station.
That's right.
last year.
I've heard programs on that. What an amazing thing, huh?
It was out of this world.
Was that Talmadge?
Yeah, that was at Talmadge.
I've heard that.
Yes,
I heard it was quite the moment.
It was great. It was a real shining moment for our program. We got recognized by the state for that, so it was pretty cool. Yeah.
And then the little Bonson girl, who was little back then, now works for NASA.
Yes.
Now she was involved in that, so there's kind of a natural tie-in with Lancaster
too.
It
was very cool. Her parents came to the event.
Yes,
she couldn't, but then she was the Grand Master at the parade, the holiday parade, and our kids got to meet her.
Nice.
It was really a great time for us and for our students.
So now school's starting up. The summer lunch program is over. That's successful every year.
It's falling. Quite honestly, the participation is
Really?
falling, and we're not exactly sure why.
In the summer.
Yes, I don't know. I would love to think that the need's not there, but I don't believe that that's really the case.
Yeah.
We have adjusted the times, so we'll do some research and to find out why kids aren't coming out for lunch. I don't know the answer right now, but we're going to find it. But yeah, the participation has dwindled the last couple of years, unfortunately. So yeah, it's kind of disappointing.
So we're beginning the 2019 school year. Things are up and rolling for all your schools. If someone has some interest in the program, whether it's maybe to get a child or a grandchild in that program, or even better, if they'd be interested in volunteering, you're up for that. How would people get more information?
Absolutely. They can always, we have a website, afterschoolprogramsoflancaster.org. We have a Facebook page as well. That's how a lot of people, I think, find out about what we're doing, what's going on. Or they can call me as well at 740-653-5678, and I can put you in touch with whatever school you'd be interested in working in.
Okay. Well, it's been rolling since 1998. It's a great program. Started out as the West After School, now the After School Programs of Lancaster. Michelle, thank you for joining us. You're doing a great job over there, and keep it going. It's a great program.
Thank you.
You do great work over there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us on Fairfield Today.
Interface Video presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, and the Frankie Smith Funeral Home.